is set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Here we go, AKAPADers. It's The Boys, final season, final episode. Episode 8. 7 years, episode 8 of season 5. Also released in theaters. Do we know, like, is this a successful ploy? It seemed like it was an absolute failure for Stranger Things. I get it. I looked up movie times for the final episode of Stranger Things in theaters. It was also more worth it. With the whole length and the hype around Stranger Things. With that final episode, if I could have made it work here in Philly, I would have done it. But maybe not for The Boys, not for something that's roughly 1 hour long. But AKAPADers, welcome back. Peter A. DeLuca here, coming to you from the location of the first White House of this great country, which is Philadelphia, PA. And we have a whole season of The Boys centered around the White House. I just feel watching all of these episodes, I watched them weekly as they came out. The week 1 drop, I think, might have been like 2 episodes, and at that point, like, you kind of look up the releases of everything else, and you're like, oh my god, I'm over a month away from like wrapping the series up. Why can't they? I just give it all of it to me now. I love the Netflix model of just dropping everything into your lap. I just think you consume it quicker, you go back to it quicker, and if it's good, you get to rewatch it like right away. I don't know, but with all of that, what's the verdict? Because I feel like I've made some concessions for the Stranger Things final. To me, like, the Stranger Things final is really all about that epilogue, and they got to Vecna, and there wasn't much resistance and of a big fight, which is the same criticism we have today. So I spent time on social media, Twitter, X. Oh, excuse me. Just had to drink something cold there. And on X, look, across the board, I will say what I'm seeing just on the hourly conversation of this final season is people liked it. They liked the final. They had some issues with the Gen V characters, which, in my view, the Gen V season 1, historic, like one of the best spin-offs of anything as a season 1. I tried to watch season 2, just couldn't carry that water. Maybe I gotta go back to it. But it's awesome seeing those characters in season 5. With all of that, AKAPADers, people seem a little bit more happy. I would say way more happy than they were with Stranger Things. And we're making this comparison because I think Stranger Things was 10 years. This show was 7 years. We have things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe where people had trouble, 10 years of investment in that. They had trouble with Avengers Endgame. I had trouble with Avengers Endgame on premise alone. I did not want them to do anything multiverse, anything time travel, anything, like alternative versions of the heroes and people interacting with themselves. No. Let me tell you this. How I feel about this final. I think it's there. I don't think it's spectacular, shocking, jaw-dropping. I think everything ended the way you would expect it. And I think that's okay. Now, is the final scene anticlimactic? I don't think so. I think the final battle with Homelander is in tone with the rest of the show, with what they didn't do anything special. They did what they do. They did what they have access to, and there's a little bit of a philosophy and choreography in the fighting for the show, which is kind of like, everyone reacts to Homelander once, Homelander starts shooting his laser beams. Excuse me again, I had to drink a little bit more water. I think a little bit of my crime on this podcast was not monitoring The Boys a little bit more, giving you guys a little bit more insight so you guys could track it. Because I do believe in building a long-form narrative and long-form commentary. That's one of the things that this podcast allows all of us to do, which is there's so many of you that give me DMs and comments, and we go back and forth. It adds to the show, and even for you, it's a long form conversation about a lot of the things that all of you like and enjoy. Uh, yeah, like on a commentary level where uh, we watch it together and we have different takes, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. A lot of times, I'll say, I think it's taste. I think when it comes to a season final, what your taste level is and what your expectations are. It's like taste and expectations. It's expectations. Trademark, copyright that. We have that going. Getting into this final episode, it was one or two things. They were going to release this superhero killing virus, which they did in the comic. Butchers everyone. Butcher dies, and we have one sole survivor left. That's how the comic book ends. We have different emotional attachments to these characters. So by the time we get to the point of releasing the virus, I thought they were going to release the virus and the virus not work. And then it was going to be like this big old like plan B, and it was a little bit of a chess match, and Homelander would get one up for a little bit until they figured out that next big thing. That's a little bit of what I was expecting. The crew of the boys, how they put together like a plan of action, it's no different than the A-Team. It's no different than the Hardy Boys or what we see in many episodes of Star Trek and Stranger Things, which that later became a meme by the time we got into that final episode, where it was just like, we're going to whiteboard out this major thing and everyone just has to do this. And if you can do that, say yes, you'll do it. It's going to be critical. They call that hanging the lantern, aka powders. So wrapping up any show that's been in the consciousness or the mind of the audience for 7 years, it's a tough toll. When we deal with characters like Homelander, who are immortal, they're infinite, they can do anything, the question becomes, what do we do with that character? These questions have plagued fiction since the beginning, since the inception of a character like Superman, where do we power him up? Do we power him down? The story and the plot kind of needs to dictate that and rip it from the character from time to time. What they did to Homelander at the end of this, and in my view, the final battle was dramatic because it's on live television. The entire world watched this guy get destroyed by Billy the Butcher. It's a great scene. It's a great moment. The way that they zapped him of his powers, again, like right time, perfect. You bought it, you understood it, they built into it, and then it was just the end time, and then everything that happens with Butcher after. What we want to call the epilogue of this episode, we were done within 30 minutes, and then we have like roughly 30 minutes of epilogue. The epilogue is the series. We kind of see something like this in Alan Moore's Watchmen, where the epilogue contextualizes the entire adventure. Once you know the epilogue, you can reread everything, and it just, again, like you see it through a different pair of eyes. I liked everything with Homelander's kid. I like them taking what's her name, Starfire, Star Blaster. I like that they took her out of the battle at the end. She dealt with the deep, the deep's fate. Again, like perfect. It's there. They teased that episodes deep. So, pun intended, I guess. Like 4 episode evolution to what caused the death of the deep. Again, like long form storytelling at its finest. I dug this final episode. I believe you will too. Now, here's the thing. If you're not engaged in the series, I recommend picking the show up, because I think when it comes to long arc, long saga, like a big old saga, a big old epic, and you want a lot of superhero stuff, and you want superhero deconstruction and powers and somewhat of a broken, corrupted world. The Boys is there. I think when it comes to long form superhero storytelling, the Boys is maybe second to the 10-year run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This show ends and wraps up for far better. You can say the counterparts would be the Flash, Green Arrow, Smallville, the WB verse. This show wraps it up way better than any of them. I think this is a top tier. It's an upper echelon season final period. I get it. You know, we don't have the episode orders that we do of old. That's a little bit of an asterisk there. But it's nothing like Newhart, where Newhart turned out to be a dream. I saw a couple memes circulating that it was Huey in a in a mental ward, and it had all the cast members as doctors. I think, you know, people would not be like a little bit of the original ending too for Fight Club, the novel, not the movie, where it's the whole thing comes from a mental asylum. But yeah, AKA Powders, I thoroughly enjoyed the ride to the final episode. Again, wrap things up, put a foot forward for a lot of these characters, but also ended in ways I was expecting, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Homelander getting murdered on live television on Easter Sunday is absolutely perfect. I don't know what else they could have done. All right, AKA Powders, I love you guys. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.